Alright, there we go. I'm always having to reinitialize my mic for some reason. Hope you guys are having a good day. What is this that we're listening to? Let me find it. This is the soundtrack to something. Silhouette Mirage. I think Brian Link beat this. I never played this game, so I noticed when it comes to using music and streams, a lot of times you can get away with game music because it's a game stream, you know. Whereas with other stuff, a little harder to get away with it. So you'll get like copyright claims. But since this is a live stream, I don't really care that much about like copyright claims. If those happen after the fact, you know, I can just take the stream off, or I don't know, let them run ads. Usually they don't get that many views after the fact. So I hope you guys are doing great. Yeah, that music is pretty cool. I really like that, actually. So I mean, I went through this period where I listened to nothing but like chip tunes for like 2 months or something, where that was pretty much the main thing I listened to was chip tunes. Now, by that I mean like new music that people made, either attempting to replicate that aesthetic or maybe on the original hardware. So this was the thing maybe 10 years ago that people started doing, was like trying to make the music, but they program it to run on like a Game Boy Pocket or a Game Boy Color, to get the analog synth sounds that are actually built into a Game Boy, or to run on an NES. An NES actually has a little tiny analog synth built into it. You know, it's like an FM synth, not something like a big additive synth, where if you're thinking like a Moog, it's like, how did they fit a Moog in there? No, it's not. It's an FM synth, which is a lot smaller and easier to do. So there's actually a really cool synth built into the NES, and so if you're wanting those sounds, there's actually, I think people make hardware where you like plug it into the NES and you can actually just, you know, have your keyboard out and play the sounds. But there's only 4 voices on the NES. So people liked the Game Boy, I think it was Game Boy Pocket or Game Boy Color, because it had more voices, you could do more tones. That was a thing about 10 years ago. It was kind of interesting. I think it goes by Disaster Piece. The guy who did the soundtrack to Fez has whole albums of chiptunes that are like soundtracks to games that don't exist, and they're usually pretty good. I actually think the soundtrack to Fez is one of the worst to just listen to that the guy's done, but he's done others that are just really cool and have a lot of really cool music. So you could check out Disaster Piece if you want some like chiptunes. All right, so let's go ahead and maybe we'll play a little bit here and see what's up. I kept getting owned in the ice castle, so maybe I'm thinking I need to go level up some more. Level up. If you're wondering what I'm doing off stream, I'm supposed to be editing a book. There's a Conan the Barbarian DVD. And haven't gotten a whole lot done with that because I've been just ridiculously busy with random things coming up since Christmas. And then wanting to do the stream, I'm like, I find I do well if I commit to something. Like, I'm going to stream every day for 2 weeks and just see if I can make that part of the routine and figure out how I'm going to fit that in. So hopefully I'll get that. It's Moonsong Book 3. Hopefully I get that edited in the next couple weeks and get that ready for press, because I really want to work on music in February. But I've been taking time to just try to jailbreak and unlock a lot of my consoles from the last gen. So that would be, or actually not last gen, I guess last gen. I could do last gen too. Like Wii U, PS3, I haven't gotten to that one. Vita, Nintendo DS, 3DS. And the big reason is that I think it's good for games preservation, and I kind of want to simplify my setup a little bit. But anyway, that's a whole process, and I don't know if I will want to do content to make that simple. So I kind of figured out a lot of stuff with the Wii U that the Wii U has a ton of hidden capabilities that people just don't think much about. Like, for instance, the Wii U has full backward compatibility with all Wii games, but it technically has full backward compatibility with all GameCube games, or like 99.9% of them. You know, occasionally programmers do really weird things with the hardware that you can't, like, it's not, you know, it cannot be compatible unless it's identical original hardware. But the disk drive that they put in the Wii U, oh yeah, just farm the ice cave entrance with tents. That's a good idea. That's a good idea, because you'll get a lot of XP there. But you can't read GameCube discs with a Wii U because the disk drive they put in it doesn't read it. Now, I don't know if anybody has tried putting like a Wii U physical disk drive into a Wii U, or getting some replacement drive to work that reads GameCube files or GameCube discs. But you can't, if you put a GameCube disc in your Wii U, it's just going to spit it back out, unfortunately. But you can play your disc images, so you can dump your disc images on your PC, and then basically the way it works is you use a plugin called Nintendo. It's not an emulator. People will bill it as an emulator. It doesn't emulate. It just lets GameCube games run and control the hardware. It's all basically already baked into the virtual Wii environment that's already there. Let's keep using that Zeus. So turns out there's a ton, like the Wii U came with a bunch of capabilities that people just didn't really think about. So you can just plug in an external hard drive to a Wii U and use it. You can download games onto it. And if you are going to run any kind of homebrew, you can actually run your games off the hard drive. So you can run ISOs, disk dumps. So you can dump your games to the hard drive, or dump them to like your hard drive on your PC and put them on an external hard drive. All that stuff's built in. It has an SD card reader. What is an SD card reader? Well, it turns out you can run a ton of stuff off that SD card. In fact, all of the big hacks run off an SD card. And the way I have mine set up is, you know, I have a 64 gig SD card. Actually, it's a micro SD. Put in an adapter, and the system reads it. That will run RetroArch, which is what I'm using to play this game, and will run basically a whole bunch of other systems pretty well. Now, I haven't tested them yet, so I'll test them, and maybe I'll get back to people on what like the best one is. But certainly you can run all your NES, Nintendo 64 games, run fine on it. SNES games. So basically you can run the entirety of the Nintendo catalog minus the Nintendo Switch just on a Wii U pretty easily. Like that's a pretty awesome thing. I'm gonna stop and think about it. Not sure what we'll do. Fight. Keep using this Zeus. This thing's awesome. And it all runs off the SD card. So if you get a really big SD card, you could put like a gigantic collection of GameCube games. Now, my collection's not that big. So 64 gigs is actually enough to hold pretty much my entire GameCube collection and my entire SNES, N64, Nintendo collection. Like with plenty of room left over. Because I wasn't a person that had like every single game imaginable. Like some people, you know. I think these cockatrices do stone. So I have to. Let's kill these guys. There you go. And we'll de-stone everybody when we're done. Wii U was full of potential. Sad that Nintendo didn't abuse it. You know, Nintendo made a great console. It feels like the general consensus is that the quote failure of the Wii U was really comes down to marketing problems coming off the Wii. So they named it the Wii U. That made a lot of people think that the Wii U was some sort of upgrade for the Wii. Or like some sort of Wii 2.0, and it had full Wii compatibility. That's kind of why they did it, because the Wii was huge. They're like, let's keep using this Wii name, you know? The Wii was a really big deal. We'll keep using Wii. And people just didn't buy it. And then I think a lot of gamers missed the boat on the Wii. They didn't like the Wii. It was too casual. It just wasn't robust enough for what a lot of, quote, hardcore gamers... Oh, by the way, if you want to use the Epic Games Store, if you're not opposed to the Epic Games Store, Star Wars Battlefront 2, the new Star Wars Battlefront 2, is free right now on the Epic Games Store. So all you have to do is have an Epic Games Store account, and you get that for free. So anyway, if you want to play Star Wars Battlefront 2, it's free on the Epic Games Store right now. Today. Remember to sell your excess equipment to make room before going into deep. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think I was out of room. I should go back to town and sell stuff, and then come back. And I'll probably have a lot of extra room. Let's see what fire does. Fire should clobber a lot of these guys. The other thing is the Wii U still... We can't decide when it... Is it part of the PS3 generation? Is it part of the PS4 generation, but early? As far as capabilities goes, it's like a PS3 level. Yeah, let's check equipment. I think I'm full. Yeah, let's go sell some stuff. We would like to play was a quote that I heard quite a bit in 2006. We were super excited about the Wii in 2006. We got it, we brought it home, we like played games with our girlfriends, and they're like, we like playing games all of a sudden. And like, that was like the last night that we really had fun with it, other than like a couple of key Nintendo titles. The Wii U was just a system that everybody felt like it was geared towards casuals. It didn't have HD stuff. We didn't have HD TV at the time, so we liked it. But every time we got like a cross-platform game for the Wii U, for the Wii, we were like, the motion controls just didn't work well. But the Wii had a lot of other stuff going for it. It had like the Virtual Console, which was really good. It just had a lot of cool things. The Virtual Console was really big. It really tapped into the retro market at the right time. I see why it was very successful. It's like they wanted to reuse the Wii name on the Wii U, but people didn't really get what it was. Couldn't decide if it was like an upgrade or what it was. Kind of unfortunate. And I say the Wii U is a really good system because the people are like, the Nintendo Switch is really good. It's like the Nintendo Switch's entire catalog is just Wii U games. That's how good the Wii U actually was. Everybody who didn't own one didn't like it. They're like, well, the Wii U was a bad system. Like, no, it was awesome. The gamepad was awesome. It was really one of the best best controllers I've ever used. It was comfortable. You could hold it in your lap instead of having to physically hold it up. You weren't getting T-Rex armed, like, with the small controller. My son could use it because he could hold it in his lap, and he had little hands, and he could reach all of the buttons. It was great. Didn't have the best battery life ever, but you could plug it in while you used it. It really was great, and it was like a second screen. Like playing the Zelda HD Zelda games on it are great because you can just look down and do your inventory. It just feels really great. That's the best way I could put it. It has a great feeling to it. But yeah, it didn't. Timing is a lot of success. It wasn't timed in a way that people were really going to get it. The whole idea of remote playing on a screen hadn't become a big thing. Now it's since become a big thing. People are like wanting to remote play. Sony did the same thing. You could remote play on your PlayStation Vita, but people didn't really get the idea of using it. A lot of gamer bros were like, why would I ever remote play? It's like, You know, and then as a married man, I'm like, so that my wife can watch a show while I play a game. That's like the best thing ever. The Wii U was awesome for that. And it was just baked into the Wii U. It was rad. All right, let me not neglect chat so much. Just farm the ice cave interest. Yeah, we got that. Hope you brought munchies. Lately, I've just been playing Trails in the Sky. Okay, where are we? Have you ever played the GameCube Battalion Wars game? I actually haven't. It's made by the same people that made Advance Wars. Oh, good. Advance Wars was good. Yeah, good. Zeus Gauntlet, the wizards. Kill those guys. The Zelda HD games are fantastic on Wii U. Item management and motion aiming makes it perfect. They simply can't replicate that on Switch. I agree. Actually, the motion aiming was just great. The Switch is a great platform. I think what makes the Switch good, though, is basically its relationship to the customer as far as making a promise to them. The promise that they're making is that you're going to get full-featured games. You're going to get mainline games on a portable system. That's the promise. And they deliver that promise. Whereas, say, the Nintendo 3DS, it's a handheld. So you're going to get handheld games. And so the Switch bridged that gap. It's like, and it's really successful, and it's pretty good for Nintendo, I think, too, because you can basically have a portable game that you sell for $60. Because what kind of happened was you settled into where, you know, the full-featured console games were $60, and the portable games were like $40 or $45. Well, you can sell them for $60 now. But I really don't think the Switch would have been half as successful as it has been if it weren't for the Wii U catalog that it gets to just draw on. They're still porting games to the Wii U, and people are getting hyped about it. People are getting hyped about Super Mario 3D World. I have that on the Wii U. It's great. It's probably my favorite game on the Wii U, so I highly recommend it. But that being said, I already have it on the Wii U, so even now, the Wii U gets more playtime than the Nintendo Switch because I already have all the killer games. I already have them for Wii U, and I bought and for a long time you could just buy them at a discount. You probably still can if you have a Wii U. In fact, if you want to play Tokyo Mirage Sessions, oh god, what's it called? FE. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember the English name. If you want to play it uncensored, the only way to play it uncensored is on the Wii U. You can get the English version and actually install an uncensored patch for it that will make it into the Japanese version. It's a JRPG. I think it's by Atlas. I don't remember who did it. Hold on, I'll find out. Let me look it up real quick for you guys. It's a good game. But it's extremely weeb. Like, it's one of the weirdest games. I'll probably stream it one of these days so we could check it out. But it's like one of the most weeb things ever. Tokyo Mirage Sessions. What's it called? Fire Emblem Encore. It's called FE Encore. FE stands for Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem Encore Tokyo Mirage Sessions. And it's part of the Megami Tensei series. It's part of like the Persona series, but it's bizarre. Their personas are Fire Emblem heroes, Fire Emblem characters, and the North American version is heavily censored. They changed the ages of characters. Like, the characters are 16 or something, and they thought that wasn't cool because they're wearing bikinis and stuff, right? So like they make them 18, and they like blur out. There's a bunch of fan service where you see like panties and stuff, which is pretty standard in Japanese anime, but they blur it all out. They blur all these polygons out, and it's just like black. It's just black underneath their skirt, and that's what they do with it. Really weird, but you can actually get I haven't set it up yet, but you can do it. You can get the uncensored version of it on the Wii U. That's the only place you can get it. Yeah, it's called FE. It's Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE. It's a very weeb game. I'll stream it. Mario Maker was fantastic too. And it works better. It feels better to play Mario Maker on the Wii U, I feel like, than it does to play it on the Switch. The Wii U is a fantastic platform, but it just didn't sell that well. And like I remember my brother-in-law saying like, this Wii U gamepad, I wish I could just take this with me and play the games on it. And I'm like, that's what they did with the Switch. They just did that. It's like, okay, well, you just take it with you now. Like, I think the Switch is barely more powerful than the Wii U. It's very anemic compared to like any mainline console. So you're always going to get somewhat poor ports of it on it. But I'm surprised how well they've done with the Switch as far as porting. Like I actually have, I think, Skyrim for the Switch too. And it's actually not a bad port. The only problem is its view angle is like too narrow. You're going to get motion sick unless you're playing it in handheld mode. I have a big TV, so it's not good. So yeah, Wii U is very underrated. So once I'm done setting this up, the Wii U will be able to play the entire back catalog of Nintendo games up to that point. And that's kind of what I want it to do. And that way I can put in a Wii disc, I can put in a Wii U disc, it'll play it. I can play all of my GameCube games as long as I've ripped them, and they're upscaled to HD, so you don't have to worry about like the whole upscaling thing. You know, how do I upscale this? Let's take a look at my items real quick. Yeah, these guys are... Yeah, we need to sell, I guess, sell the iron, silver, okay. I think it's a chance to level up a little bit. The iron cap. Yep. Sell the silver, I think. Silver, whatever that is. And then we'll sell Larry's iron thing here. Is there anything Larry can wear here? There's a buckler. I don't think there's anything Larry can wear. Does Wii U play Wii games? Yes, it plays. It has full backward compatibility with all Wii games. It comes with a sensor bar. It does not come with the Wiimotes, but if you have Wiimotes from your Wii, they just work. So I don't even have a Wii anymore. The Wii that I played when it came out was my roommate's, and I don't need one to play my Wii games that I own. So I just use the Wii U, and it upscales it to, I think it's a 1080p upscale, but it upscales it in widescreen. It looks great. So it's the best way to play your Wii games is the Wii U. There's a whole virtual Wii in there. You actually play the GameCube games through that virtual Wii, which is pretty nice. The Doom Eternal port is fantastic. I also have the game on PC, and I can have a blast on both versions. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, the big sell point to me of the Switch is like it's games that are portable. It's like portability, that it's like full portability. And I think that's great. I think that's definitely been the winner. People have the idea like, what? I can take my console games on the go? Because they don't really look at a 3DS and think, well, this is me taking my console games on the go. Even though you can play a huge number of games on the 3DS and the software catalog is... Oh, I hear my daughter, I think. Hold on. I'll be right back. There we go. All right, I'm back. Put it on the regular camera and walked out instead of like the book screen. Okay, you got to look at my office for a bit. I didn't have that quite set up. Yeah, my daughter's awake. She says her legs hurt, so she's having some growing pains. She's almost 2. My son's actually going to be like 2,000 days old here pretty soon. Oops. Well, that is interesting. Let's see if it recovers from that. Might because I reset my sound device. Well, if it did I save my data? That's the big question. Should be able to hear me. Shows sound on mine. The game is muted. Yep, I think we crashed RetroArch here. Yeah, it happens. It happens. I didn't save the state, so let's find out. I have to kill it. I probably have to go here anyway. Let's see if it saved. If not, we lost a little bit of time. Not really lost because I had fun chatting, and we'll make it up here. But basically, let me link something to you guys. I'll give you a couple links. Okay. One is for running Nintendo, which will silver armor, the best armor for Larry right now. Is it? I have a gold one. Oh well, maybe I'll have to reload the game anyway. The other one is, let me find it here. Where is it? WiiU.hacks.guide. And this will tell you what you need to do in order to enable homebrew. So you can use that, and I will even give you a video here that will take it through step by step if you want to jailbreak your Wii U. It is actually not hard at all. It's pretty easy. One thing that I might do, all you need is an SD card and I have a big SD card. I might even get a bigger one depending on how much space it takes up on that SD card to run the games. But on that SD card, you're going to run all of your software, and you are going to enable all your homebrew software is going to run off that SD card. So one thing that I've considered doing is just having like setting up a GitHub page. I think I already have a GitHub page, but setting one up so it just has a SD card image. So it's just like copy these files onto your SD card, and you don't have to click through all this stuff that's in the Wii U hacks guide. Like, it's all just there. You pop it in. You go through the steps. You go through the steps in order. You end up with the homebrew launcher on your screen. You do have to buy a DS game from the game store, from the Nintendo game store. And what it does is it basically uses an exploit to overwrite that to put the homebrew channel permanently on your Wii U, so you can run unsigned software, so you can run things like Nintendo that will basically unlock your Wii U's ability to play GameCube games and also run RetroArch and a bunch of other emulators. And you can even make an image that has RetroArch on it. But once you have that SD card set up, basically all your stuff you're just going to put on that SD card, put it in your Wii U, and that's how you're going to run it. So it's pretty simple once you get going. It seems complicated when you look at it, and it's like, oh, there's complicated steps. But once you do it, it's pretty simple. And then your Wii U's wide open. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. You can mod your virtual Wii to do all kinds of things, run emulators. But now, since RetroArch is on the Wii U, it's better to just use RetroArch. It's in the Wii U environment on the homebrew channel. It runs everything natively without having to go through the virtual Wii environment. So you really only need to go through the virtual Wii environment to run Nintendo, but you don't have to mod your virtual Wii to run Nintendo. You only would have to mod it if you want to run it off like a big external hard drive. It's easier to and cheaper now, really, to just get a really big SD card. You could get one that's like, I have one right here. and you just have to format it in FAT32. I have a 512 gigabyte one I got for like $60. So you can get a huge SD card that will hold all of your games that you want to run on your Wii U, basically like that. You know, all your non-disc games, and even a lot of your disc games you could dump and put on it too, and just run that way. So, oh yeah, gold armlet's better. I thought so. I figured like just gold's better than silver. So anyway, guys, did my PSP years ago. Now I did my Vita recently, and I'm going to do a little bit more work on that, and maybe I'll come up with like, I don't know, a quick guide. Like, here's the way to make the ultimate Vita experience. But jailbreaking your Vita is a little more complicated, but it's definitely worth it. You can run Adrenaline, which will let you run, basically unlock the Vita's native modes to run all your PSP games and run all of your PS1 games. So the Vita is really a really powerful system for running PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation Portable games, and PlayStation Vita games, as well as emulating pretty much every other platform that's out there. RetroArch can actually emulate the PS1 on the Vita, but it doesn't work nearly as good as Adrenaline does. So definitely put an Adrenaline on your Vita if you have that. That's a really great option. Nintendo 3DS has a bunch of different hacking options, including like cart hacking and stuff. So I have a way with a cart to basically put all my old DS games onto one cart and just run it. Just run those. Just pop those in when you want to play the DS games. The Wii U was really cheap a little while ago. Now they're getting more expensive because people are buying them up. So if you can get your hands on one from like a GameStop, then I think they're worth having if you want access to what I'm talking about. The reality is, if you already have a Nintendo Switch, you already have access to the Wii U catalog. There's not a big reason to buy one unless you're like me and you're like, I want to play my GameCube games, my Wii games, my Wii U games, all in HD, and I want to play emulators on it too. I want to have all that stuff unlocked because I already have all of those games. But if you just want to get access to the good games from the Wii U, they're all on the Nintendo Switch at this point. Pretty much all of them except for Xenoblade Chronicles X is pretty much the only one I can think of that's not available on the Nintendo Switch. Like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is available. Everything's available except for that one. And even Xenoblade Chronicles for Wii is now available on Switch. They have a definitive edition. So that's cool. But if you want to get the Wii U and have all your discs available and that kind of stuff, then it's a good buy if you can get one cheap. You certainly can do a lot of cool stuff with it. The Vita, I don't know if the Vita can emulate PS2. I haven't tried it and I haven't really looked into it, but I don't think it's powerful enough to emulate PS2. And the reason is not because the Vita is weaker than the PS2. It's really that the PS2's hardware is very difficult to emulate. Sony did this thing all the way through the PlayStation 3 where their hardware was just really weird. They designed hardware that you'd have to program specifically for that had unique capabilities, whether it was like the Cell or it was the Emotion Engine in the PS2. You really had to know the hardware to unlock its capabilities. So emulating the Emotion Engine is rather difficult. Now, that being said, you can actually emulate the PS2 on the PS3, even if it's not a FAT model. It has all the power to do it, and it's possible to do it. It just was locked out because it's not very compatible with the software emulation is just not very compatible with all the games compared to the full compatibility of the original FAT model, which is what I have. Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD aren't on Switch yet for some reason. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I don't know why. I think, someone mentioned on Twitter that it's like the 35th anniversary or something of Zelda, so they might put them on Switch this year. And to me, that's money in the bank. If they can, maybe they're staggering their releases. If they have HD ports of those two on the Switch, that's easy money because those two games are both great. I don't know how they'll port Skyward Sword. It might be that Wii U is the best way to play Skyward Sword. The Emotion Engine of the PS2 had pretty unique architecture from what I remember. That's what I remember too. But if you knew what you were doing, it had really good capabilities. All the multi-plat games looked worse on the PlayStation 2 than the GameCube or the Xbox. but games that came out exclusively to PS2 often looked really good, like Final Fantasy 12. So anyway, guys, I gotta go. I don't want to. My wife probably needs to go to sleep, and this baby's not having a good time. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me for however long we hung out, 40 minutes, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm gonna see if this game actually saved real quick, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, the Wii U is cool. Now, most all systems are just based on Intel 64-bit architecture, but system makers used to have their own, for whatever reason, maybe licensing. Nope. That's where we're at. All right, so we lost today's play session. It's okay. It's no big deal. It's all fun. If you enjoy playing the game, we'll enjoy going back and grinding our way back. So have a great one, guys, and I will see you all. Yeah, she's hurting. Maybe Tylenol. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So anyway, guys, I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.